Thanks everyone and very warm welcome for the webinar. My name is Amal. Basically, I have around 25 years of IT experience. I have been working as a cloud architect for more than 10 years. So today we would be talking about cloud computing and some basic overview around Azure. Okay. So we are going to talk about a very advanced technology today. I would like to touch base a few table of content topics here. First, we would be talking about what is on-premises. Basically, we call it as on-prem. And we would be talking about what is cloud computing and the advantages of cloud computing, key benefits of cloud computing. Then we would talk about different types of cloud computing currently available in the market and various deployment models of cloud computing. Okay. Then we would deep dive into inside Azure Compute and how the Microsoft is managing Azure cloud. Then different server types which are being supported by Azure and different generations of computes available. Then we will talk about Azure PaaS, platform as a services, and infrastructure as a services models. At the end, we would be talking about different career paths available in the market right now. If you get specialized on the cloud computing as well as on Azure or any other cloud service platforms, okay, different job opportunities, those things we would be talking in detail. Okay, so these are the topics we are going to learn today. From the learning objective perspective, at the end of this session, you would get a very at high level, you would get very good understanding about what is cloud computing and different types of cloud computing and deployment models of cloud computing. And what is the major market potential and revenue forecast in the cloud computing? If you get into a cloud computing related technology jobs, or if you wanted to invest something on the cloud computing, what are the major forecast is available? Those things you would learn, and we would be learning around different cloud service providers who are in the market right now. Then we would try to understand few Azure services. There are 100+ services are available on Azure. I would try to touch base at very high level around the Azure services. After that, I would try to explain about how the cloud computing works. Okay. Then again, from the job and job opportunities perspective, we would discuss few areas. All right. Okay, that's all about the introduction. We would directly jump into our presentation. Okay. So before we talk about the cloud computing, what is cloud computing, we need to have a basic understanding about what is on-premises, or in the industry, we call it as on-prem. Okay. So in the traditional model, where in IT companies or any businesses like banking or insurance or healthcare, any industry if we take, where those companies used to have an infrastructure. Basically, we call it as a data centers. Okay. So in the data center, they used to have hundreds of servers, and there would be a team like IT infrastructure management team. They manage all the computers, all the servers, and they also purchase some software and they install it in their infrastructure. So it's basically a data center where they manage all the computer resources and also the software. So that is what we call it as on-premises. So this is the traditional model which is being used for last more than 50 years. Okay, so a lot of pain points in managing the computer resources in on-premises. Okay, so this is all about what is on-premises. In on-premises, if you wanted to set up a data center where you need to procure everything like computer resources, servers, computers, routers, switches, okay, and the storage devices, backup tapes, and third-party applications, you have to install, you have to set up everything. Okay, this is all about what is on-premises. Next, we'll talk about what is cloud computing. So cloud computing is basically on-demand availability of computer system resources that is provided by some of the cloud service providers. Okay, you already might aware of Amazon AWS services. The second one is Microsoft Azure services, then Google Cloud services. Okay, so these three are top cloud service providers in the market. So basically what they do is they have a data center centers globally in every regions. Like suppose if you take within India, there are like 4 data centers. Okay, likewise within Asia, like they have like many data centers, and in Europe they have many centers, and in US, so like that they have like thousands or hundreds of data centers which are like a provision globally, and they are trying to like rent those infrastructures. Okay, for anybody to like purchase or rent any computer resources. Okay, so this is all about the cloud computing. It's basically like the resources are like provided by cloud services provider in a centralized place where we can go and buy computer resources whatever we want. Okay, so the difference between the on-premises and cloud computing is the on-premises model is it's private to us, like all the infrastructures within our on-premises within our company data center itself, whereas in the cloud computing model all the computer resources are purchased and managed by third party like AWS or Azure or Google Cloud, and we can go and like rent any services, even we can purchase some of the resources. Okay, that's our only major differences between these two. Hope you understood both of them. Okay, so here we are going to talk about what is cloud computing. Since all the computer resources are centrally available through the cloud service providers, we can purchase or we can rent any of the computer resources. It's basically the terminology what we use is pay as you go model. Okay, suppose if you wanted a virtual machine or something, and instead of purchasing from a shop where you can like log in into the one of the cloud computing service providers portal, and where you can like purchase or you can rent any VM. Okay, so basically they charged hourly basis, like per hour. If you access a VM, probably they might be charging like $2 or $3, something like that. Okay, so monthly, if you access a VM, if you wanted to rent a VM, where you can like pay for some $30 or $50, something like that. Okay, so that is called a pay-as-you-go model. So it's on-demand availability of computer resources, basically. So whenever you want, you can purchase. Suppose today you wanted Windows 7 virtual machine, you can buy and you can use it. Then you can like delete it. Okay, so it depends on your need, whatever resources we want, whatever the advanced resources you want, you can purchase and you can just leave it like that. Okay, so they charge only for whatever resources you are using on the cloud. Okay, and you might be asking then, if I rent from somebody, how can I ensure that the availability of my resources 24/7 or always? Mainly all the cloud service providers, they provide a SLA. Okay, they make sure the availability of all the resources greater than like 99.5% or something. If they are not meeting that, suppose you purchased a VM and suppose in the evening few hours the VM is down or something, probably you may not be going for that particular cloud service provider. Okay, so most of the cloud service providers are providing like very good SLAs. So in case if you wanted to purchase any computer resources, probably cloud is a better option to go in the going forward. Okay, and on the cloud platform, basically you have to understand that there are 3 major cloud service providers in the market right now. The first one is AWS. AWS is basically Amazon Web Services. The second one is Microsoft Azure. The third one is Google Cloud Provider, GCP. Okay, AWS it's been available since 2000 in the market because they are the one like initially like they came to this cloud computing market, where like they have a very big market. They are holding market revenue right now. The second one is Azure. Azure was started sometime like in 2010, and with respect to AWS and Azure, like Azure also is doing equivalent to whatever AWS are providing, and the services are almost same. Okay, with respect to some technology, there are some differences. Mainly the Java related developers and those like Linux related platforms are mostly supported by AWS, whereas in Microsoft Azure side, like almost majority are like Windows based, and even nowadays they are supporting all the Linux based technology and services. Okay, and the Google Cloud provider, like they recently they into market, but they are also providing a lot of advanced cloud services. Okay, these are the key points you have to understand from this cloud computing. Then few key benefits we need to talk about cloud computing. Suppose if you're running a business or you are into like IT, and you might be having a choice to like select whether to like set up my infrastructure and application on premises or cloud. Okay, and almost already like most of the business, they have migrated all their infrastructure and application into cloud. Still it's a very big market, like still like there are many businesses still running their infrastructure and application on premises. Okay, so there is a very big opportunity for the cloud computing. It's a very big major shift, basically like moving to like on premises to cloud. The major advantages where we can see is when we manage the infrastructures and application on premises, we come across a lot of challenges, especially with respect to cost, scale, performance, security, many other features, especially from the networking, the architecture perspective. Okay, like there are many challenges that we used to face in the on-premises. Those are being like easily addressed in the cloud computing. Okay, I'll be like touch base on few areas here so that you would get some understanding about why the cloud computing is better than the on-premises model of provisioning. Okay, the first one is the cost. Suppose when you like set up your infrastructure on cloud, there is no upfront cost. Whereas if you like set up in on-premises, you need to purchase the hardware, and you need to like have some space to like set up all your computer resources, networking, okay, all those things, setting up the server rack, and you need to like have some dedicated IT professionals to manage the infrastructure and applying some patches, deploying some software, all those things. So when you go to cloud, all these things are being eliminated, so there is no upfront cost. So it's a pay as you go model. So like whatever resources you are going to use, you are going to pay only for that. Okay, that is one of the very major advantage in going to cloud. The second one is the scalability is another bigger challenges in the on-premises model. And also like when you think about the scalability in global scale, that is again like it's very difficult in on-premises model. When you talk about scalability, suppose you have application like which is being used across globally. Okay, suppose take Amazon.com or any like LinkedIn.com, okay, or Twitter.com. So basically, like suppose if you run all the infrastructure and the particular software from a single data center, and suppose somebody is accessing from India, if the infrastructure is set up in US, then the accessing the application and accessing the resources might be slow. So it depends on the need. We should be able to like scale. So in this case, like we need to set up like multiple data centers, and we need to deploy the application multiple places. And depends on the user access, we should be able to scale our applications, scale our infrastructure, things like that. So that is impossible in case of on-premises model. That would cost a lot in order to set up the scalability. So the cloud providers are basically providing a global scalability. Okay, so we can easily like achieve. We don't need to put a lot of effort. We don't need to think about anything. Everything is managed by the cloud service providers. Okay, so that is one of the major advantage of going to cloud computing. And the third one is performance. Okay, and always on the cloud, whenever we want, what type of resources we want, we can purchase, we can rent. Okay, so it depends on our work. No, suppose you might be like using it for some gaming purpose, or you might be like you might be a developer, or you might be a businessman. So it depends on your need. You may need a different type of compute resources. Suppose if you take like Intel processor, like Intel processor are available from Intel single core to like i7 processor. Suppose today it depends on your use, you might be needed like only i3 internal process oriented computer. Tomorrow you might be needed i7. Okay, so all type of latest generation computer resources are available. It's not only the computers, the other things like networking, okay, and different applications. Everything is like with performance wise, everything is available. Next one is security. Security is another bigger cyber security. Like when we manage in on-premises, we have to take care of protecting your computer resources, networking, okay, and applications. Everything we need to like take care of meeting the compliance security. And suppose when you like working in a banking or a healthcare related industry, it's going to be a lot of challenges in order to like meet the security and meet the compliance, all those things. Whereas in the on the cloud side, like most of them are already addressed. And there could be like still like a few areas where we need to like have some security engineers to like work on like setting up some additional software in order to like take care of the security. Okay. And three more topics from the benefits perspective. Speed. So suppose when you work in on-premises, like purchasing a server, it's not so easy. You need to like go through so many approvals. It's not, the decision making is really hard because we need to go a business justification in order to purchase something. Suppose if you wanted a computer only for one couple of hours or for a month or something like that, even though because you are going to physically purchase everything. Okay, so that is all is pretty simple in cloud because it's a rental basis, hourly basis we are going to pay. So the speed of procuring the resources are pretty easy. And productivity perspective, like that's what we are going to save a lot of cost, and also like racking and stacking are completely like eliminated because all the computer resources are going to be managed by cloud service providers. In on-premises, we need a team of IT administrators to set up the infrastructure, networking, and deploying the applications, all those things. Okay. The final point is reliability. Reliability is another bigger challenge. When we run some applications, when we deploy some application on premises, we have to ensure that application is working fine in case some disaster happen, and we should take regular backups, and we need to like set up a secondary data center in order to take care of the reliability and availability for data center and our application. Okay, so the business continuity, it's a big challenge in case when we run our applications on an on-premises model. So those are all being easily addressed in the cloud computing. Okay, so why the business are like moving towards cloud is these are the very key points or bigger advantages in order to take decision to move into cloud platform. Okay. All right. So we have learned around about what is cloud computing, different advantages so far. In this slide, we are going to like discuss about different types of cloud computing is available and different for different type of businesses. Okay. We will be talking about what is public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Okay. So in these three types, all three are like managed by cloud service providers like Microsoft Azure or AWS or GCP. Here, when we talk about what is public cloud is basically Microsoft Azure or Amazon AWS. They have many data centers, and they basically provision all their resources like computer resources. And any business, any companies who are on the internet, like they can access the public cloud. Suppose if they wanted a VMs, they can like deploy any applications. So basically the communication is through internet. Okay, so since like this communication is through internet, there would be like many hackers or something, like we need to protect our resource, so we have to tighten the security, all those things we have to take care. Okay, like setting up some of the certificates and all the communication happening from our office to the cloud, everything needs to be taken care of. Okay, and suppose some applications, like suppose Amazon.com or Netflix.com. So these are the applications are basically accessed by accessed commercially, okay, by access to anybody through internet. So those applications can be deployed in the public cloud because we wanted to expose our application through the internet for consumers to use it. Okay, so that's one of the main use case about the public cloud. The second one is private cloud. Some of the businesses, they wanted to make use of cloud. Okay, they wanted to make use of cloud, but at the same time, they don't want to expose all their resources, whatever they have provisioned within the cloud, they are all to be accessed only from their company network. Okay, so here they create basically a fiber connectivity here. It's called a side-to-side connectivity, VPN based connectivity solution. Okay, so still they like access through internet, or they can access through express route, that is another VPN technology. So they can like access their resources through a private channel, private networking channel. Okay, so that is called a private cloud. So here also private cloud, and between, suppose we have a two cloud. Okay, one is AWS, one is Azure, and within these two cloud also we can like make some connection, make some networking connection, like through like a site-to-site connectivity. There is a protocols like IPsec protocol being used in order to like communicate between two different clouds. Suppose few services you are using it here, few services on Azure, few services on AWS. So this technology we call it as a hybrid cloud. Okay. So this just wanted to like explain about what are these technologies and being used in the market. Okay, this is one of the very good slide to like explain about different type of models. Okay, the first one is a traditional IT. This is an on-premises model, whereas suppose in the on-premises we wanted to set up everything like the applications, data, runtime, middleware. So in this case, what we do is we purchase servers and we set up a networking and we set up storage servers, so virtualizations, and we deploy the applications and we set up the data. Everything we take care of that. Okay, this is the traditional on-premises model, and other three areas are on the cloud. Okay, so this is the on-premises model, and on the cloud there are two different type of models are available. One is the infrastructure as a service. In the beginning, I explained about IaaS. So this is a infrastructure as a service. So in this model, what do we do is, in this model, what we do is we purchase only the servers, storage, and networking. Okay, and all these are like managed by cloud service providers. Okay, but the like applications, data, runtime, middlewares, all the software related, we are going to manage it. Okay, so in the infrastructure as a model, cloud service providers they provide only the virtual hardwares and deploying our applications and setting up all those things like we are going to take care. Okay, so that is the type of model is called infrastructure as a service model. And the second one is platform as a service model. In this model, the cloud service provider is going to provide a few services, a few like cloud services. Okay, and so the cloud service providers, they are like going to manage the servers, networking, storage, everything, and also they are going to provide a platform. Okay, suppose you are a developer or something like you are like creating a PSP applications or ASP.NET application or something. Okay, and you are purely you are a developer. Okay, you don't need to like know anything about your server and where the application is going to be hosted and all those things. So in this case, all the cloud service providers, they are providing platform as a services, like they are providing hundreds of services. So in Azure, there is a service called app service. So within the app service, you can deploy your application. You need to just what you need to do is you just need to like copy your code inside the one of the cloud services. So the cloud service provider is going to like take care of deploying your application into one of their servers, and they are going to manage everything. Okay, so you don't need to worry about anything from an infrastructure perspective. Since you are a developer, like you can focus only on your applications, only on your business. You don't need to like break your head like setting up servers or like set how your applications are going to be hosted and all those things. Okay, so I'll be talking about the platform as a service in detail. Like there are hundreds of services being supported by all the cloud service providers. And next, the another terminology you have to be aware of that software as a service model. You might be heard about the software as a service. So this is the one of the modern way of creating applications. Okay, in this case, the servers, applications, everything like managed by somebody. Okay, and this is going to be like multi-tenant applications. Like suppose if you take an example of Netflix. Netflix is a single product where like there are millions of users are accessing it. So suppose if you want Netflix access, so you basically like subscribe into their product and you start using it. Okay. So from Netflix point of view, you are one of the tenant, and Netflix is a SaaS product. It's a software as a service product. Okay. Likewise, Facebook, Twitter, all these applications are like multi-tenant software as a service products. Okay. So this is basically not part of the cloud, but all the infrastructure and everything like managed by one of the product developers, product development companies, and they build a software as a service products. Okay, so these terminologies are very important to understand. Like one is the IaaS infrastructure service, the second one is PaaS services, platform as a services, and SaaS. This is software as a services. Okay, here so since there are like many cloud service providers are available in the market, so AWS and Azure, these two are big players. In addition, in addition to that, Google Cloud also it's a big cloud service provider. So in this webinar, we are going to touch base, talk about Azure, okay, from Microsoft. So as I already told, Azure is already well matured, and they are running more than like 500 data centers globally. Within India itself, there are two data centers. One is in Mumbai, and another one is in Chennai, I believe, South Asia.